Assembly Member McCartney.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I want to continue the questioning, and particularly because my two boroughs are Enfield and Haringey, and they're two of the four boroughs in London that's going to be testing the changes from this next month before it gets rolled out across London. I say in Enfield and Haringey, poverty is already disproportionately high, and those boroughs have both seen between March 2011 and November last year a 29% in the case of Haringey and a 21% in the case of Enfield increases in people applying for local housing allowance and housing benefit. And we believe that's due to an increase in poverty, unemployment, but also that families are moving out. And if I can quote to you what Jules Pipe, the chair of London Council, said to us when he was in this chamber only a couple of weeks ago, he says that...
27% increase in Haringey?
Yes, that we certainly have figures for placements, particularly in temporary accommodation, that boroughs have made and that clearly show that some boroughs, like my own, have placed a number of families in the low tens in a 3-month period in immediately adjacent boroughs. And he says that's compared to, in the same quarter, boroughs who've exported hundreds to northeastern boroughs. And Enfield and Haringey both fall in that northeastern quadrant of London. So I think we can see that there is some effect already happening. But in my two boroughs, can I say, do you believe that the total benefit cap is going to adversely affect these already boroughs who are disproportionately affected by deprivation?
Well, I'll look into the figures for the increase in LHA applications and
housing benefits
and housing benefit applications and see what we can do to
because that does seem to be a shift, a great shift.
That is interesting. Again, I just repeat what I've said earlier on. The data we have is inconclusive at the moment, but it may be that changes. Yeah. I've got to be clear with you. It could be that what you're saying is part of a pattern. The big challenge really is to make sure that people on low incomes in London can get the housing they need. And at the moment, we need, roughly speaking, to double our rate of home building in this city in order to deal with that problem. In Haringey in particular, there are huge opportunities for new and better housing. In Enfield too, that's what I would like to see. That is by far the best way of tackling the crisis, and it is a crisis. We have a housing crisis in London, but it is it's a sign of the attractiveness of London, by the way, that we have a large and growing population. But it's something that we can turn to the advantage of Londoners.
I mean, this is why our party argued for a higher rate of cap, for to have regional variations.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that.
It will
I've looked
particularly
into that.
affect. Can I also ask then, are you aware why the four boroughs that are going to be the pilot for the total benefit cap have been chosen in London?
I can't give you.
Can I suggest that I was quite shocked to hear that actually they've been chosen because they share the same DWP assessment office in Stratford, and most of the rest of London, their assessment offices in Northern Ireland. So actually, the pilot is not to test the benefits on people. It's actually to test whether the DWP systems actually work. Which I think is shocking.
I mean, it'd be great. I understand that you're concerned about that, though I have to say that my bitter experience of bureaucracy and DWP systems generally is that it's quite a good idea to test whether these things work. I mean, that is not a wholly stupid thing to do.
Michael says testing two of the most deprived boroughs in London, when the impact's going to be seen sooner, is perhaps the wrong thing to do. And those boroughs are very concerned that they will have to make up that shortfall during that 4-month test period, particularly in housing benefit. And when I put the question to Jules Pipe, whether those boroughs should receive compensation for the DWP, he said yes, and London councils have lobbied. Can I ask for you to lobby on behalf of the four boroughs?
Because they will have to make extra payments.
They may well do if they choose to do that. Yes.
I'm sure that is something that a point that will be made to DWP, and if it is the case that London boroughs are now being placed under genuine and unexpected
will you
strain.
make the case
I will.
as well?
I'm about to join you and say yes. Of course, it's my job to represent boroughs in that sort of situation.
Thank you.